You guys ever wonder how Saitama got his iconic superhero suit that's literally almost as indestructible as he is? You have to assume it was engineered in some kind of lab using insanely durable materials and cost millions of dollars, right? Well, what if I told you guys it was actually given to Saitama as a gift by a simple old tailor from his own neighborhood? Yeah, I know, sounds crazy, but for those of you that aren't familiar with One Punch Man OVAs, this might be brand new to you. So in today's video, what I wanted to do is talk about the day that Saitama first got his suit. And this is something we find out in one of the One Punch Man OVA's Road to Hero. But before we get into this interesting story, if you guys enjoy One Punch Man content like this, then look no further because I drop One Punch Man content multiple times a week, from theory videos to discussions to chapter reviews, which I'm actually very proud of because I do pride myself in being one of the first YouTubers to get a chapter review out once it's released. So you definitely want to have notifications on so you don't miss out on that. But let's get right into the story. So our story begins with this gecko-like looking man running down this alley with a shirt stuffed full of DVDs and CDs. And it's made clear immediately that he's running away from something or someone. Well, that someone is none other than Saitama himself, who at this point still has his hair and still doesn't have like the insane, unbelievable strength that we know he has today. So Saitama catches up to this gecko man and confronts him for stealing all of these CDs and DVDs and proclaims that he's going to make him pay. But as he leaps from the wall that he's standing on, a nail from a telephone pole catches his track pants and rips a hole right in the back of them. So of course Saitama makes quick work of this gecko man and immediately leaves to go visit the tailor in his neighborhood who's been fixing his tracksuits for him while he's been doing his hobby hero work. But as we get taken to the tailor's shop, we see this sketchy looking blonde man talking to him about some kind of debt that he owes them and that he needs to pay, but either way he's going to be coming back tomorrow to claim what's his. So we can assume that this guy is some kind of like loan shark or just generally sketchy person that you wouldn't want to have around. And Saitama approaches the store as the blonde man's leaving. So Saitama finally gets to talk to the old man and he lets him know that he ripped his tracksuit again, but the old man informs him that he wouldn't be able to fix it for today, so he'd have to come back tomorrow to pick it up. But in the meantime, he wanted to show him something that he's been working on because he's actually been really interested in creating a hero suit and he wanted Saitama to wear it. So he brings out this notebook where it has a sketch drawing of the suit that he wants to make and shows it to Saitama, and to Saitama's discomfort, it's this like classic samurai outfit and he even gives it a name. And of course Saitama is totally turned off by this, so he wants to let him down lightly that he hates it. You know, he doesn't want to let him know directly that he hates it because the old man just seems so like impassioned by it, so excited to make this suit. And Saitama basically just lets him know that he wants to continue wearing the tracksuit and not have a hero suit just yet because he wants to remember where he came from and he doesn't want to have a hero suit and a hero name until he feels that he's a professional hero. And the old man buys this for now, and as the old man walks him out of his shop, he tells him that he probably shouldn't be doing any hero work at this moment because the town that they live in has become very dangerous and just full of crime. And immediately after this, we cut to this man sitting in this eccentric looking room with all these different lights and fancy looking things all around, and it turns out to be the blonde man from earlier's boss. And he questions his boss as to why he even wants the shop because he wouldn't even get any customers out of it. And the boss basically claims that he wants to create chaos, he wants to make money in whatever way that he can, so he doesn't care. And we kind of get this hint that he's about to have some kind of like transformation because he keeps acknowledging that he feels close, that it's coming soon or something like that. But before we can really ever get like to what he's talking about, we cut back to Saitama, who's watching TV in his crappy apartment, picking his butt and just watching this like weird explanation about how insects metamorphosize and go from like caterpillars to their, you know, adult insect form, when he hears a knock at the door and it ends up being his landlord, which is this old lady who asks him for the rent. And of course Saitama doesn't have it because he's totally broke, and he kind of just finds a way to avoid it and put it off for later. So the next day he goes back to the tailor, who finally has his suit all patched up and ready, when the blonde thug comes back from the other day to apparently claim what is his, and it ends up being the deed to the store. And the old man reveals that he's from Nia Nia Loans, which is a loan shark gang that has taken control of a lot of the shops that are in the area. And as Saitama questions him about where they're even from, the tailor draws him out a map to follow so he can locate the apartment complex that they're basing their operation out of. So Saitama ends up following this map, and it turns out that they're operating out of the same apartment that Saitama lives in. And as he's standing in front of the apartment, he sees a blue-haired guy and asks him if the Nia loan group is in the same building, and the guy kind of just shrugs him off. So Saitama decides to go door to door and try to look for them himself. So the first door he ends up knocking on is his landlord, who he quickly evades. The second one is some like super creepy guy that's like in lingerie. And when he knocks on the third door, these two guys with bowl cuts answer, and Saitama introduces himself as a hero who's looking for the Nia loan group. So hearing that he's a hero, the two men start to freak out that he's obviously there to get them and arrest them for their counterfeiting operation that they have going on in their room. And Saitama is of course not interested by this, so he just starts walking away. But then the men mention that he's obviously there to get the reward that's out for them, and this definitely piques Saitama's interest. So the two men end up attacking him, and he makes quick work of them and starts scouring the apartment complex for more of these people. So the blue-haired guy from earlier comes across him and sees what's happening and decides to call his boss, who is the same as that thuggish blonde guy's boss as well. So as he's explaining to his boss what's going on, Saitama actually shows up at the same place, his base of operations, to confront him. Saitama acknowledges that he dresses really weird and presents him with the fact that the interest that he's charging the tailor is much too high, and legally he's not able to do that. So therefore his loan has already been paid and he should return the deed to his shop. So the Nia boss is both angered and feels insulted by this. So he goes into this manic rage and begins to monsterize. So as he's monsterizing, it cuts back to the shop tailor, who regrets letting Saitama go because he feels like something bad's going to happen to him. And he kind of thinks back to when he last saw Saitama walk away to go confront the boss. And at that moment, he kind of imagined them in this hero costume, which is obviously the costume that we know Saitama has today. And so this kind of motivates him and makes him work even harder on the sewing machine that he's on. But then we cut back to the mob boss and Saitama's fight, where we see the mob boss's full transformation into this like pink fish looking monster with BDSM gear on or something. And Saitama goes on to say that he was a weirdo before, but now he's an even weirder weirdo. And he goes on to say that when weird people get even weirder, they just become straight up perverts. And this of course angers the boss, so he starts attacking him with this whip-like weapon that actually does a little bit of a number on Saitama and tears up his suit, to which Saitama says that he's actually reached his limit. But that's until the boss actually mentions that there's a reward out for him as well. And this word was like the nail in the coffin for him, because this lit a fire in Saitama's eyes as he repeats reward, which of course means that he's about to power up. So we then cut to Saitama's apartment, where he knocks on the door and his landlord answers, and he says that he doesn't have the rent, but he can turn these mafia people in to claim the reward to help pay for his rent. But it's then revealed that those guys were actually her main source of income. So she gets super pissed and just kicks Saitama out of the apartment. So as he's sitting outside with all his stuff on the sidewalk, the old tailor finds him and invites him to his apartment. So while they're there, he hands Saitama his now famous suit and tells him that he was actually looking to retire anyways, but he's finally made something that he can be completely proud of. And he tells him that he doesn't have to wear the suit, but he definitely wants him to have it, because again, it's the thing that he's most proud of making, and it's made for a true hero like him. So this was kind of his way of thanking him for saving his shop and being such a good person to him. So this was like, a really heartwarming moment for Saitama. And as he tries on the suit, he realizes that he's probably going to look a little weird and people are going to think he's strange. So then it cuts to like the present time, where Saitama's bald and like insanely strong, and him and Genos are sitting on this wall, and he's explaining to Genos that at first he was really embarrassed to wear the suit, so he would keep it under his tracksuit, but eventually he got used to it and it means a lot to him. But somehow like this kind of like goes in one ear and out the other for Genos, and he says that it's time for him to upgrade his suit. And Saitama obviously gets a little bit upset by this, and that's where the episode ends. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I thought this was kind of like a, pretty interesting story for how Saitama got his suit. It's kind of heartwarming, and it's also kind of random because you would never expect such an indestructible suit to be made by a simple old tailor. And I'm sure many of you, die-hard One Punch Man fans have already seen this OVA and are already aware of where he got his suit from. But for those of you that have just seen, the regular anime and read the manga, I thought maybe it was a, interesting story to tell here. But what do you guys think? Did you guys expect this to be the origin origin story for Saitama's suit. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about this OVA episode. And also let me know if you want me to make more videos like this where I kind of go over, you know, OVA episodes or little known things about the One Punch Man verse. And if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to like. And again, please subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. I'm still a pretty fresh channel, so any amount of support is amazing. But until next one, I'll see you guys later.